My name's Greg. I'm a bartender here at the Bonefish Grill. I've been in the industry for 30 some years at this point in my life. I love the service industry because the interaction with people, and it's hard work that pays off quickly. It's right there and then. I originally came from Florida. I worked at a 5-star hotel down there for 15 years before moving up here because my wife wanted to get her doctorate, and the schools were doing exactly what they wanted to do here. So when we moved up here looking for a place to work, Bonefish Grill was a no-brainer to me. It was the perfect place to go because it's handcrafted cocktails, it's good food, good service, everything that you would think that you would want for a job. And it has proven to be that after 2 years of being here now.
Hi, my name is Kimberly. I work at Bonefish Grill in Johnson City. I've been in the service industry for 9 years, and I've worked at 6 different restaurants across California, Oregon, and Tennessee.
My name's Heather, and I have been a server and a bartender at Cafe Lola for a little over 4 years now. I have been in the service industry for 10 years, since I was about 16, and I've done everything from hostessing to serving to bartending. So I've done a little bit of it all, just worked my way up.
My favorite parts about being a bartender are just people, interacting with people on an everyday basis, getting to know the regulars, where 80% of my business is regulars, which is fantastic.
I think my favorite part about being a bartender is just the connection that you get to have with people. It's a really unique experience to be right across the bar from someone and get to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours of their day with them, and you really start to learn a lot about people and connect well with them.
My favorite part about bartending would have to be the people that I meet along the way. I've actually made some really great lifelong friends that I never would have thought I would become friends with.
Least favorite part of the job? Probably clean up, to be honest with you. Or, yeah, clean up is probably the least favorite part of the job for me.
My least favorite thing about bartending can also be the customers. Even though you do have the opportunity to meet some really amazing people and connect very well with them, there's always going to be difficult people in a bar.
But for the most part, the difficult thing about it is having to put up with customers who could be misogynistic, could treat you like you're not really a person. And sometimes it is a little bit worse with men, and then sometimes you get women that come in here and don't really care for you either. It really just is how you present yourself and the relationships that you build with the people that come in here. It can go either way for you.
I'm gonna make you my favorite cocktail here. We've got our smoked old fashioned. And the fun part about this, it gets the smoke on top. We're gonna take a snifter glass. We got our nice little handheld smoker and wood chips. Put that in there. And we light it up. And the smoke comes out. This is easy, easy sell. The second that the smoke comes smelling, wafting through the bar, everybody wants this cocktail. And there you have your smoked old fashioned.
So this is my favorite drink. It's the Owens Martini. It's pretty simple ingredients. Hendrick's gin, Saint Germain elderflower liqueur, which is my favorite. Some cranberry juice and lime, and you're good to go.
I'm gonna show you my favorite wine that we carry here at Bonefish Grill. This is gonna be the Columbia Crest Merlot. It's out of the Columbia Valley in Washington, known for growing really great Merlot and Cabernet. It's velvety smooth, a little bit dry, but really fruity. Enjoy.
When you worked at a hotel as long as I did for 15 years, some of my regulars I would see like maybe once a year because they're coming down on vacation. So one of my favorite memories is one of the first families I met, their kids were 9, 8 years old when I first met them. And by the time that I left that hotel, I was serving them cocktails by the poolside. And it just seeing a family grow like that is such a special thing. To be part of that family is definitely very special, and it doesn't happen all the time.
As a bartender, a lot of times you end up starting to collect regulars, people who come to your bar frequently. Some of them, maybe it's once a week, every Thursday they're here. Some people, it's 3, even 4 times a week. And you really start to get to know those people if you're spending, let's say 4 hours a week with them. You become really close. And it can be difficult creating a balance because ultimately I'm still doing my job and I need to make sure that all of my other guests are taken care of well. But it is really important to spend time with them and make sure that you're really developing that connection, and it can be really special and important.
Being a woman and bartending, especially later at night, you're dealing with people who are obviously drinking more than the average person if they are sitting at the bar. Typically, you have people with a higher confidence after they've had a couple, so they feel like they can say whatever they want to you. And a big part of our job is to try and remain as professional as possible when someone does say something to make you uncomfortable.
Oh, I just want to ask one more thing. Do you feel like you ever play the role of a therapist with people?
Every day.
When it comes to bar?
Every day. Yes, I play the role of a therapist almost every day. My wife, that's what she's getting her doctorate in, she says that's basically, she was a bartender for years and years and years. And she says she's just spent a lot more on education now for doing the exact same thing that she was doing as a bartender. But yes, absolutely.
I personally feel like I'm more open and I'm a sharer. So my bar guests probably know a little bit more about me than I know about them, because what I do know about them, I never want them to feel like I'm being too invasive. I want to be open and warm and let them feel like they are a part of my life, because to an extent that they are, but I never want to feel like I'm pushing too much on my patrons' personal life. I try to keep that distinction as much as I can.
Do you ever feel like you play the role of a therapist for people at the bar?
I am a bartender. I'm not a licensed therapist, and a lot of times I feel like in this job we step into that role for a lot of people. And I understand, if you're having one of your worst days, this may be where you come, and we're happy to have you and to take care of you. But it can be difficult, trying to help people work through what they're going through at times and not always knowing what to say. But I think a lot of times people just need a sounding board, just someone to bounce things off of when they're going through tough times. So There's a lot of times as a bartender that we step into the therapist role. And I'm happy to be that person for people, but it can be difficult at the end of the day, you know, going home with their burdens as well.
Tipping's an interesting thing, and it always, in my brain, it's always been that it's not something that I think I'm going to get. I have to work for that tip. It's not going to be given that they're going to give me money.
In the state of Tennessee, minimum wage is $2.13 for service workers. So really all of your wages, you're relying on people tipping, basically. There's not a reliance on your hourly wage that you're taking in. So tipping, especially in a state like this, is really important.
I also encourage people to tip in cash, because there are some places that may not make you claim all of your cash tips like you do your credit card tips. It really helps servers and bartenders with their taxes at the beginning of the year every year. And in a place like Lola, where we have to write down our credit card tips and wait to be paid for those, if you pay your server in cash, more than likely they'll get to take that home that night. So it is a consideration of them and a convenience for them.
I do about 30 hours a week here, and so spending that amount of time with the people that you work with, you really start to grow close and, you know, develop friendships. And this restaurant and everyone I've worked at before, you really do develop a work family. And it can be hard coming into your job. Like, a lot of people have other things going on outside of here, and they bring that to work, and so you really become close and like know people well, and it's nice. It's a good way to, you know, meet people in your community and develop friendships, and we definitely have a really close-knit work family here.
Because it can get, just because it all happens at once in a restaurant. You could be walking around twiddling your thumbs. Next thing you know, your entire bar is full and you got 4 tables going on, and it's insanity. So you need to count on everyone.
I have only ever worked in privately owned restaurants. I've never worked in corporate. So everywhere that I have worked, it's been a smaller work staff. It has felt more like a community, and I have to say that this has been my favorite restaurant job I've ever had, because we are so small and we're around the same people all the time. You can't help but build relationships with people, even if it's someone who has a different personality than you and you don't think that you would actually be friends if it weren't for the environment that you were in together. You still end up building a really good relationship with them. And I have to say that I'm super grateful. I really like everyone that I work with. And even if you have issues with someone during a shift, you leave it at the door.